All right, the homie Justin Gordon says Eagles killed their first and second picks last year. Who is the Steelers' surefire 1-2 punch in this draft on offense, on defense, or on each side of the ball? In terms of the 1-2 punch on offense, I mean, I guess you're projecting when you're saying, yeah, who's the 1-2 punch in this draft on offense, defense for the Steelers. So, I don't think it's as simple as you're trying to make it. I do agree, though, that Philly has definitely killed their first two draft picks past two seasons, but also look at where they picked those players at. And I think that would also be a big indicator as to like why them dudes did what they did. All right. But I like what you're saying. I like the direction that you're going with that, though. But in terms of the 1-2 punch first round player for me, I'm obviously thinking, I guess the layup is always wide receiver, right? When you're just talking about what the biggest need is, to me, I think you need a playmaker. I think you need a big time dude out there, wide receiver, a guy that can make any quarterback right. Because unfortunately, I don't share the same belief that a lot of people have about any, just quarterback can come in here and, light it up. Or the guys that a lot of guys are more optimistic about, I personally have a lot more questions about. So to me, I look at the wide receiver and I say, that has to be it. And we're specifically talking the draft because that was the question, right? You didn't say free agency. You said the 1-2 punch in this draft on offense or on defense. All right. So with that, that's what we focusing specifically on drafted players, no free agent type of guys. All right. But to me, like I said, man, I would start off at wide receiver, man. And Emeka Egbuka, man, obviously that's one of the names that continues to jump out to me. I would love T-Mac. Teteroy McMillan. I would love that player to drop to us. I did see a couple reports over the weekend where they were saying how, he might potentially fall out of that top 5, top 10 range. And I'm like, yeah, if you falling out of that, then maybe that, could intrigue the Steelers to want to move up potentially. But he would be the first guy that I would say. I think that he would be that bona fide number one or an electric 1B to GP. So to me, I would go with him as my, standout, what you call him? Surefire 1-2 punch. That would be the offensive side of it. Then from a defensive standpoint, I'm torn, man, because I'm like, I feel like a D lineman is definitely something that we need to be targeting. But at the same time, I'm like, I can see some of these D lineman options in the draft. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, in free agency, I'm like, we don't necessarily have to go this route because perfect world, I would love to go wide receiver round 1. And then I'm trying to spend a block. And if Najee's gone, I'm going to want to give me a running back in round 2. All right. That's just how I look at it. I want to do the double dip if I could. Okay. But if not, then I'm going to go one of these big body interior D linemen. Me personally, as much as I love what Mason Graham presents from a pass rushing standpoint, I do kind of lean a little bit more towards the traditional nose, and that's the Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. I lean a little bit more towards him. I like him a little bit more just because of, like I said, the true traditional frame that he brings. But there are a couple of interior D linemen, man, that to me, I think would be excellent pieces to bring in, and that could not only help Cam out, could help Keanu Benton out, but it also helps out these linebackers, man. Keeping dudes up off of Patrick Queen, keeping dudes up off of Peyton Wilson. Shout out to the Peyton Wilson. Dropped a film session on him, right? Just showing a little bit of what he was doing in that playoff game against the Ravens, right? First playoff game for Peyton Wilson. Thought he played really well. But he's one of those guys to me, man, that I'm just like, imagine if he's playing behind Kenneth Grant. Imagine if he's playing behind a Talik Williams. Imagine if he's playing behind a TJ Sanders out of South Carolina, a Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. Like, those are the type of dudes that I'm saying, man, not only can they control the line of scrimmage versus the run, but they're also penetrators versus the pass, man. Their ability to convert. Some of these dudes like Talik Williams, man, I think that dude has like super high end potential to be a pass rusher from the anterior part of the D line. That's the 1-2 punch, right? When you're talking about give me some production on offense from the draft, give me production on defense from the draft. We talked about what Philly did. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, those are draft picks, man. All within the past 2-3 years, man. Draft picks, high-end picks though, right? High-end pedigree guys, but came out and balled. You talk Cooper DeJean, you talk Quinyon Mitchell. These are high pedigree draft picks, man. Balling though, bro. So when I think of that, that's kind of my approach to the 1-2 punch. Oh, excuse me, that one. But I think there, like I said, man, a lot of ways we can go with that thing right there, man. So we shall see.